See, the thing is, a lot of people think fitness is all about strategy. Like, oh, what workout should I do to make my abs pop? What foods are best for their antioxidant qualities?
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you guys in on a secret. Strategy is the least important thing.
Let's go!
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Online Footprint Project. I'm your host, Ross McFarlane. Thank you so much for investing your time with us here today. Now, as you can see, there's a little bit of a different setting going on. We had some technical difficulties where the internet at my house would just not work. So I was on the phone for about 45 minutes prior to the episode just because I wanted to make sure that we were up and running. And they said that there's a fault on their end. So it was a case of roll with the punches, opposed to, I'll just invite Grant in, opposed to saying I can't go on, then I've driven to a friend's house. So I'm using their Wi-Fi whilst they're at work. Although I'll tell you what, looks pretty specky here with all the bookshelves and stuff. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, it is what it is. So I'm just waiting for Grant to join. He's jumping in now. So yeah, thank you for tuning in. Grant's managed to figure out how to join very quickly, which is fantastic. But yeah, so I'm really looking forward to today's episode because Grant is basically just a fitness guru, and it's something a bit different than our standard. So he's done fantastically in his industry, in his field. So I figured it'd be great to have him on board just to learn more about the fitness industry. What was it called? Back in 3 seconds ago, there was someone else on the video. All right, John, we'll figure that out. But yeah, so I mean, Grant has done fantastically in his industry. So once he joins back in again, we will get things going. And then I'll re-explain as to why this is going on here, post the standard widescreen. Hey, Amanda, thanks for tuning in. Or not. No, that's all right. We'll get there. So yeah, basically with today's episode, the location has changed. I'm not at my house. I'll explain why in a moment if you've missed why. Because I do normally like to have it set up at my house, the white screen, all that sort of jazz. But today's slightly a little bit different. Hopefully little puppies don't run along. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. So once Grant figures out how to join, very standard. You know, Facebook doesn't make it easy. If you're on your Facebook laptop and I'm on my mobile, sometimes there's a bit of a discrepancy there, in which case then Facebook finds it hard to join. Once Grant figures it out, it'll be all good. I'll just see if Grant... As per normal, what I'll do is edit out this first bit, and then once we upload this as a podcast, we'll get it started basically from start of the value. So, and we do that with YouTube as well. All right, so Grant is there, add guest. Here we go, drum roll. In he comes. Grant, hey man.
Hey, technical difficulties on both sides today. Man, I am here. I'm ready to rock.
Thanks so much. I'm really looking forward to it. So everyone at home, Grant Eilertson, basically, man, thank you so much for coming on. So as I explained before, the reason that it's a different setting is that my internet at home just decided to cut out, rang them. They said, there's a technical difficulty on their end. So with the whole rolling with the punches thing, as business owners and entrepreneurs, we need to do that instead of packing it in. I rang Grant and just said, hey man, apologies, hold up. I drove to a friend's house and I'm using his Wi-Fi whilst he's at work. So we got to do what we got to do, right?
Whatever it takes.
Exactly, my man. So thank you so much for coming on the show. I'm really looking forward to it. I think today's going to be great just because being in the fitness industry, it's going to be able to, you're going to be able to offer some real value from a different aspect of the entrepreneurship. So I'm really looking forward to that. Thank you so much for coming on.
Hey, thank you for having me, Ross. It's a pleasure to be here.
Absolutely. So I'll tell you what, I'm quite like this swirly chair. I might have to invest in one back at the house.
I got one too.
Yeah.
Get the ab work in, right?
Yeah, exactly. So Grant, tell us about your story. Like, I'd love to hear about, you were saying that you were the youngest manager when you worked for a GNC. Like, that's fantastic. At 19 to run 2 stores is an amazing effort. So how did you get into the fitness industry? How did you get into GNC? Like, please, share all this with us.
Well, I got to ask you, man, do you want the 5-minute or do you want the 10-minute story? Because
man, we got all day.
Give
me whatever you want. Give us the 45-minute story. How about that?
Well, I'm sure a lot of people can actually relate to, I guess my before, because So just to toss a little bit of like quick context at you before we get into more of the nitty gritty details.
Yeah.
At about 6 foot, 115 pounds, I was literally like barely more than a tall drink of water, as they say. But
Yeah.
the thing is, as a former athlete, I played soccer, I played lacrosse, so I was always really active. And it never really mattered too much to my physical capabilities, how big I was or how I looked. It was just, okay, can you perform on the field? Can you score goals?
Yeah.
So, my purpose was fulfilled, and I really felt like I had a lot of self-worth there. The thing is, though, when you play year-round sports, it becomes your life.
Yeah,
It's
of
like
course.
a microcosm, or I guess like a micro community, and you just get stuck in the little tendencies and such. So you kind of forget what's going on in the rest of the world.
Yeah.
Shit, especially being in high school. I'm sure everyone can relate to that. So, the thing is, like, I found my home in sports, and I loved the competitive aspect and, supportive communities that a team offered. Well, a lot of that changed when I took my first real job, and I was working for a construction company. So while I had done a lot of stuff on the side, help people move shit, God, I remember, if we want to talk, this is an entrepreneur's community, so I'm sure you guys can relate. I used to make little clay sculptures of like ducks and heads, and I would draw pictures
I love
and
it.
shit.
I love it.
And I would sell them. I would sell them to people. It was like a quarter a piece or whatever, but I was making money. So that got instilled into me at a very young age.
Beautiful. Yeah.
But anyway, back on track. My first job, I was working construction, and fact of the matter is, when you're a 6 foot tall, 115-pound kid, quite frankly, working with a bunch of grown men who, in that industry is, I guess I could call it a bit of a crude environment. I gotta ask, do you mind profanity on your show?
Man, say whatever the fuck you want.
That's what I'm looking for. So, man, I'll tell you what, like, and God, if you look at any of my content, if you guys end up checking out any of my shit, like, you're gonna be like, what the fuck is this guy? Oh, what is he on? I
Yeah,
get a
man,
little
afterwards,
crazy.
drop all your links. Like, that's, for you coming on the show as a thank you. We want you to promote your business, promote your pages, drop all the links afterwards. Absolutely. So at the end, everyone can check that out.
Hell yeah. Guys, raisethebartraining.com. Check it out, and I will hook you up with some freebies just for tuning into this.
Beautiful.
So,
no, Brian, just sorry, man, just quickly, there's a little bit of feedback on your end. I'm not sure if it's your mic or actually now that I've said it, it stopped. So never mind. All right.
you know what it is?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what it is. We just got back into town, and my stupid washer in the other room is the loudest thing in the world. It's just finishing up with its cycle now.
Yeah, beautiful.
So I'm glad you had a little delay.
All
So
good.
back on track, my first job working construction with a bunch of big dudes. I'm going to be honest, I'm going to be a little vulnerable with you guys right now.
Yeah, it's daunting. Like if you're like from someone that say was a skinny teenager, it's quite daunting to be around larger guys. Like nowadays, getting older, it's like, oh, it's not really about that. But when you're a teen, it really is like the alpha, the omegas, and the betas. You really just have this different perspective on where things should be at, for sure.
That's true. And, I was going to say, like, my self-identity honestly took a big blow when I was exposed to the real world, where, like you said, a big, strong physique is honestly pretty necessary in order to project confidence, and capability. So, as much as I'd like to think, like, your appearance doesn't matter, it fucking does, especially with how important a first impression is. You got, what, 4 seconds nowadays?
Yeah, 4 to 5.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's really not much at all.
So, you got to be on top of your shit. You got to be coming in with a confident, powerful persona for people to take you seriously.
Yeah.
So, needless to say, they actually just called me bitch. It wasn't Grant. It wasn't Mr. Eilertson. My name was bitch. Like, pick it up, bitch. Bring it over here, bitch. So, I say it with like a smile or a laugh on my face now because I've told the story so many times, but it's not easy.
Oh, man, like back then, I know exactly what you mean. Like that resonates really close to home because I was quite a skinny kid back in the day, and now it's a completely different story. Not only have I grown, but I'm I've put on a bit of weight since. But no, I know exactly what you mean, man. Like as a young boy, image. I mean, because everyone has image issues, and I guess like with females, it's more spoken about within society, but for guys, it's still a real thing, and it's not as widely spoken about. Much kind of similarly with mental health, where it's fantastic that it's becoming more of an open discussion topic, whereas even 10 years ago, it wasn't the thing. Like if you had any issues, you just had something wrong with you, and that was the end of the story. Door closed.
It's wild how far we've come in a very short amount of time.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Well, even look just a few hundred years ago where there was still wars or not wars in things like World War II, World War Three, World War One and Two, but I mean more as in regards to like people would just get killed just on this, and the bodies would just get hidden, and that was kind of just the end of it, and there was no repercussions. Whereas now we have come so far as societies that it's really just it's crazy in the short period of time. To think that like slavery was only a few generations ago to now is fantastic. Like think of how far we've come in such a short period.
Oh God, that's crazy. But I mean, without trying to open up a whole can of worms, I think the past election really showed us that some of us haven't come as far as we'd like to think.
Yeah. This is true. This is very true. When Trump was first put into the spin, I thought, oh look, this is just a joke ballot, like it's not going to make any difference. But then he was very clever in regards to capitalizing on that demographic of people that really just wanted to have separation, which obviously not get into politics, especially from, I'm not even, based in the US, so everyone will be like, oh, who are you to say? But I mean, he knew how to win, and they interviewed him and they're like, oh, well, you've told all these lies, that you've said one thing and now you're doing another. And he goes like, well, I won, didn't I? Just blank in the face, I won. And they're like, all right then. So
isn't that wild? It's an attention arbitrage.
Yeah,
it's kind of the stuff that Gary Vaynerchuk talks about a lot, and that really interests me because it's a double-edged sword. It could be used for good or evil, and I'm not gonna like state my opinions either way, but God, I mean, it's crazy what just being able to captivate an audience can do for you, whether you're a single person or a business.
Yeah,
and it becomes that storytelling and relatability that people just latch onto these days.
Yeah, exactly, and they do. As you said, it's attention arbitrage. I like that. Yeah.
So, as you can obviously imagine, like if you're being called bitch on a daily basis, it starts to kind of mess with your psyche. You start to develop almost a new persona.
Yeah.
So the thing is, like, because I was always into fitness, and being healthy and being active, it didn't take much for me to get like spurred into an obsessive kind of personality. Like I went too far.
Okay.
When I say I went too far, I mean, I literally over the course of 4 years in high school, doubled my body weight.
Okay.
So I ended up being 230 pounds.
Wow.
Which it was crazy because it took, I won't go like into the day-to-day diet, but it was literally me eating those jars of peanut butter. I'd eat one every day, can of tuna or 3 for lunch. I ate blocks of top ramen raw because it was the easiest, fastest way to get calories in so I could get as big as possible.
Okay,
I was just like lost in the pursuit of bigger, not better, just bigger.
Yeah. So
I feel like a lot of people run into that with their businesses too. And that's why I kind of wanted to highlight this. If your pursuit, or if your metric for success is just constantly more without any sort of tangible guidelines or actually attainable markers, then you start to feel lost and it becomes overwhelming. Whereas if you actually have legitimate, clear goals and a solid vision, you can accomplish so much more. So here I was, 4 years later, just eating stuff in my face like a madman, working out 2 to 3 hours every day. I mean, consistently, like 7 days a week. I would sleep during history class. I'm sure, what was his name? Todd Jukala. If you ever see this, I am so sorry, but I know nothing about anything you taught.
Oh, shit.
Oh, God. But, it's like, hey, good luck calling a perpetually angry, insecure, 230-pound man-child a bitch, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So by the end of that, I mean, God, like, I accomplished it. But the problem was like no matter how much muscle I actually packed on, it didn't fix the inside.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Yeah.
it's tough because as a result, my relationships, both personal, professional, what have you, they suffered because it's such an all-consuming obsession when it's just physical and
Yeah.
trying to change your own perception with your outward appearance. You got to go
Yeah,
the other way
absolutely.
around. So, God, pinnacle, or I guess the turning point, I ended up blacking out under the leg press on probably my like
Good.
15th day in a row in the gym. And my
Okay.
girlfriend at the time got me to my mom's house and they ended up taking me to the hospital at God, fucking 1 a.m. I
Oh,
think it
wow.
was. They ended up having to pump me full of Dilaudid. They put me on Oxycontin and stuff because they couldn't figure out what was going on. They thought I had an aneurysm, had to get me through all these procedures and stuff.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it turned out to be exertion migraines,
Okay.
which
All right.
did a little bit of research in. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but it actually left me unable to make my bed for
Yeah.
a month, let alone train.
Yeah, the body's crazy in
So
how it can respond to certain stimuli, and being overworked and the effects that can bring is crazy. Yeah, sometimes like full body skin rashes, yeah, passing out. It's actually crazy what the body can do to cope with stress.
it's crazy. So I mean, like trying to describe just the sheer magnitude of like putting on that much body mass is tough when, most people haven't experienced it, but
Yep.
God, understanding that it made my life so much more difficult was like a hard pill to swallow because it was
Yeah.
all I was about. So I started snoring, I started having these other health problems, feeling bad, like acne all over, just literally from eating so much and being under so much stress. The stress
Yep.
is a killer. God, I mean, I got bigger to try and silence the voice in my head,
Yeah.
but it was trying to say it wasn't mine. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. It literally wasn't my voice. And so until I was able to actually get clear about who I was, what I really wanted to accomplish, then I was just spinning my wheels the whole time. Now,
Yeah.
at that point, so let's see, along my journey up to that weight, when I was about 160 pounds, I'd started working at Albertsons. Now, I'm going to kind of get back on track as far as the business story goes. I started working for Albertsons, which is a grocery store. Now, I was throwing freight for them, but they're non-union, so I would do other things too, like push carts.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
because my single obsession was fitness and body manipulation, I would push carts every day right by the GNC. So I would always look in there and just think, oh man, if I could do that, I would make so much money. I would get discounts on supplements. I'd be able to talk about nothing but training all day.
Yeah.
And I got so obsessed with that. Well,
That's great.
before my 18th birthday, I want to say I was 17 and 8, 9 months or so. I walk into the local GNC and I said, fuck it. This is it. I'm done. I put on a nice little sport jacket, walked in there, never said my age, shook the guy's hand, and I got the job. Now,
Beautiful.
they
Yeah.
couldn't file the paperwork until I was 18 because they can't hire someone under that. Crazy.
Yeah.
So that was how I got my start. And because of that obsession, guys, I'll tell you, if you want to be successful in anything, do what you are obsessed with. Because if you try doing a job that you think is going to pay well just for the pay, someone is going to outwork you who fucking loves it.
Yeah.
Like, no question. I mean, you could work 10 hours a day doing something that makes great money and think you're great at it, but somebody who loves doing it is going to put in 14 hours and not even blink because they
Yeah,
love
exactly.
doing it. So, by that time, I started getting really into sales, reading a bunch of books, people like Jordan Belfort, Grant Cardone. I really liked
Yeah.
that kind of background. And what's funny, I read one of Donald Trump's books back when Portland was like overrun by network marketers, as I got into Robert Kiyosaki from one of those guys.
Yeah.
And so I was singular focus. And so by the time a store opened up, my RSD actually asked me, he goes, hey, Grant, would you be interested in running a mall store, which for GNC was like cream of the crop. You got to
Yeah.
have more customers, more commissions, more everything. And I said, hell yeah. So I actually dropped out of college. I was going to community college at the time. Said, screw it. I'm going to do this. This is my life now. So I took over that store. And
Excellent.
not even 3 weeks later, about 3 weeks later, another store opened up. And rather than actually getting another manager, they said, Craig, you've been doing a really good job, and I'd love to see if you could take this store too.
Beautiful.
And I'm
Yeah.
going,
Sign me up.
two? In addition? Like, what does that mean? Well, it ended up meaning me working like 50, 60 hours a week, pretty consistently, splitting my time between two stores.
Yeah.
I look back on it now, like, what the fuck was I doing? But I loved it for the first, probably 6 months. It was
Yeah, and that's
fun.
the rush. When you start something new and you enjoy it, you just engulf yourself in it, and you're just like,
Yeah.
oh, wow, 6 months has just gone by, a year, and the amount of hours you put in, but it's so worth it during, and the amount you learn from doing it is phenomenal.
Oh yeah. Dude, it's crazy. That rush of adrenaline and like new opportunity. It opens up doors. So I did that for like a little over a year and a half, I want to say. By that time, I started getting so burnt out. It was a commission job, and I actually set a few sales record numbers, but like that's not what I'm here to talk about today.
Yeah,
I got to the point where I didn't see much opportunity for advancing in a way that I wanted to. I didn't want to like oversee the operations of a few stores. I wanted to actually impact people's health.
yeah.
Contrary to popular belief, a lot of supplement stores, I mean, they're not really staffed with people with the best intentions. Often,
Oh,
I mean, what
absolutely.
drew me
Yeah,
there in the first place? Yeah. And even
yeah,
though like I have an incredible passion for helping people, the thing that drew me in when I was younger into that industry in general was sales. I got to sell things and make more money. Pretty
yeah.
simple. And that's what happens with a lot of people. So by that time, I was like, something's got to change. And I always had this like inkling in my mind that I needed to start another business. Because when I was in high school, I had an on the side business stringing lacrosse sticks with my buddy
Nice.
Liam McBain, who, shout out, is kicking ass up in, I want to say, New York, playing hockey right now.
Beautiful.
Um, I know, he's an awesome guy. We ended up letting that business go when we graduated. But I figured, you know what? If I could do it in high school, I could probably do it again.
Yeah,
Well, it's a lot different when you want to run a business that is like life sustaining and not just side income producing.
yeah.
Holy shit. The amount that I've learned in the past, little over a year and a half is blows my mind.
That's
Every day I
fantastic.
wake up and I'm like, all right, I know nothing. Let's see what we can do today.
Yeah.
But that's where Raise the Bar training started. It was out of my obsession with helping people and that unfulfilled desire to actually make a legitimate difference in people's lives. See, the thing is, a lot of people think fitness is all about strategy. Like, oh, what workout should I do to make my abs pop? What foods are best for their antioxidant qualities?
Yeah,
I'm going to let you guys in on a secret. Strategy is the least important thing when it comes to actually achieving your health and fitness goals. Quite frankly, your mindset is number one. And after that is a good accountability system. So if we
yeah.
look at the three most important aspects in creating like a healthy, sustainable, fit lifestyle, your strategy should be the last thing that you actually consider.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're big on being an accountability buddy. So for anyone watching, yeah, I think it was January 1st or 2nd, there's a post about having accountability buddies. So if you want to post your goals there, collectively as a community, we can actually all keep track of each other and help each other along the way there. So really looking forward to that.
I
If you're
like
on as well,
that.
say hello because Grant is, yeah, he's an absolute fitness genius. He's done fantastically so far. For such a young guy, he's accomplished so much. So if you're watching, we'd love to hear from you. Hashtag value. If you could drop that below, we'd really appreciate that. So we know you're getting value from this. So yeah, Grant, you were saying?
Oh my gosh, I've decided to flip over to the comments real quick and I'm seeing them pouring in. I just want to shout out Michael Frank. He says, hey, that's my coach. Guys, my clients are some of the coolest fucking people in the world. Being able to actually work in the setting that I do now,
Yeah,
so cool. so cool to get to meet people like that you can help. But literally, what I was gonna say is that so many people put the cart before the horse, or as I say, they ask for a map before determining where they actually want to go.
Yeah.
Do you get that a lot?
Yeah, that's standard. Like it's very very common. Like because I'm in web design, I'll typically I'll have a discovery call with a potential client, and they'll say I want this, this, and this. I'm like, all right, but let's work backwards. Like, what do you want to achieve from this? Like, there's no point in just having a shiny website if you don't know what you're going to leverage it for. And I'm like, oh, well, I want to do this, this, and this. And I was like, all right, well, let's use this key marketer. Let's say personal branding as an example. Let's use personal branding, and then let's work backwards from that. And then after step 2 or 3, the website is to be able to facilitate those steps, 3, 4, and 5. Whereas, yeah, if you're just going to go forward and have a map without knowing where you're going, you're not going to get anywhere.
Absolutely. So you do web design primarily, right?
Primarily, yeah. This is just a side hustle. This daily podcast is just a side hustle.
I feel you, man. Speaking of daily podcasts, actually, I do what's called the Daily G now.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely looking to have more people on to offer more of a diverse perspective.
Awesome.
Because I'm all about optimizing human efficiency, and creating people who live fuller lives. So it's not just about like, oh, here's how you get your abs, or this is the best food to eat. Like, I want to go a little deeper than that. So my intention is really to spread positivity and, the message that like wherever you are, no matter where you come from, where you want to go, it's possible, but you got to start with the right steps. You got to start from the start.
Absolutely.
I love that, man.
Yeah. Well, that's it. Well, I'm big on leveraging people's time in regards to, to really all help one another in getting where we want to go. So that's why I love the podcast, because in this setting, we can have a conversation that will then get out to, several hundred people, 1,000 people, whatever it may be. And so we've now leveraged that time to help X amount of people in the same space as if we were just going to have a phone call. So, it's fantastic in that regard. And with the structure of it where, we share your story and then you offer value within your industry and then promote your business, we're able to learn different people's perspectives, because I really, really love learning different people's perspectives from around the world, because we're all in our own little bubble and we all kind of just have our day-to-day and really we have our closest friends, and that's kind of the, the same conversations and the same, things that you do. Whereas if you're trying to, I guess, just meet people from around the world, you're going to be learning new things every single day. And that's why I'm such a big fan of this and why I've invested so much of my time just to get this up and running, because I think it's a great thing to have. Not to like blow my own horn or anything. It's just I enjoy the setting and I enjoy doing it. So I think if you're doing the daily G, I think that's awesome.
Dude, blow your horn, because this is awesome. I mean, doing a literal daily podcast I just hop on camera and talk for like 10 minutes about some key thing you might be able to toss in your day that'll make it better. But dude, coordinating all of this is fucking killer. What do you do to stay productive?
Man, I found, because I left the 9 to 5 in September. So basically, prior to that, I was a state level medical practice manager. And so, had a lot of structure, that sort of thing. I was actually the youngest practice manager within their company as well. So go us. When I left, like I found, I found my sleeping patterns were really getting fucked up, and productivity really comes around how you structure your day. So I found that I was then going to bed later, and then I was waking up later, and I was still having that same, say, 10, 12 hours a day, but it wasn't, or however long you sleep, I need a coffee, but basically, I found that, without structuring my day properly, I wasn't achieving as much as I wanted to. So one fantastic thing or tool that I've leveraged with this podcast is that I structure a lot of them in the morning. So then that way there's something I absolutely have to get up in the morning for. And then from that, all right, cool, I've gotten early to do this that I have to do. I now have the full day to work. And now I know I'm going to go to bed at a reasonable hour, opposed to say like 2, 3 a.m. because I have to get up in 5 hours or 6 hours. So I found that just the productivity is just setting your day out ahead. Some days I will write a list of things I've got to do, but it's more about just having that generalization about, okay, well, these are the things I need to do. I'm going to make a mental list, even if it's not structured, but at least I know they have to get done. So if I'm getting up at a certain time and I absolutely have to get up at that time, then I can then facilitate that day. Whereas, yeah, if it's like, oh, look, I got to get up roughly around, say, I don't know, 9 a.m., and you're like, I'll hit the snooze till like 9:45 or whatever. It's like, man, you're already behind the eight ball. Whereas if you can get up at 5:30, 6, and I will admit, I'm not the best at getting up that early, but I am trying to do it better. So, there'll be periodic ones where I will get up at 5:30 or 6. I'm still around about the 7 a.m. mark, so I will throw my hand up for that. But I'm getting there.
Oh man, that's funny. It's funny you say that because like I would love to be a morning person, but frankly, I get my best work done at night, so I
Well, I'm
get
the
up around
same.
eight.
I am the same. So I'm trying to relearn this structure that I've already inherently like built. Just because I feel I'd be a lot more, if I have the morning, then, everyone else say businesses open at 9. If you've worked for 3 or 4 hours prior, then you're already ready to go. So then if you've just say you're making cold calls for the day, you've already got your list set up. Or if you've got emails, you can basically get them all ready to go or sent. And then that way, when they get there and they open up their emails at 9 a.m., the emails are already sitting in their inbox.
That's smart. See, I'm lucky right now. We're on the East Coast of the United States. And while I do, and I have actually worked with a couple people in Australia before, most of my clients are westward.
Okay,
So I'm up 3 hours before a lot of my clients anyway, only
beautiful.
because I have that 3 hour difference. But
Yeah.
I'm curious, do you have like a set routine that you run through in the mornings, or is it pretty much like straight to work?
It's it varies. I'm really trying to test because, as I said, it was only September that I left the 9 to 5, so I'm still trying to test what works best. And for anyone listening at home, having a routine for say 2 weeks isn't enough to really figure out if that's going to work for you or not. So I've really been testing the waters as to what works better. So there's been mornings where I'll wake up and first thing I do is I'll go to the gym, and then I'll come home and I'll have breakfast and then I'll read for a little bit and then I'll do that. Or there's been other times where I've woken up and I've gone straight into work just to see if that works better and then go to the gym later in the day. So at this stage, I certainly do have a routine, but it's a different routine to what I had a month ago, just because I'm still figuring out in this infancy of my entrepreneurial career as to what's going to work best for me, because everyone is different. So much like we're working out, there could be, say, 1,000 different workout plans, and they're not, really they're all going to be best for someone. It's not one workout plan for 1,000 people. So, it really is about figuring out what works best for you.
Very true. I mean, if there was one plan that worked for everyone, we'd just have one book and the industry would die.
Yeah.
Uh, you know what? I was kind of curious about it because I would love to share some of the principles that I use to establish my own morning routine, but then your listeners would be able to start implementing themselves because it's the kind of structure that I work with my clients around. So you
Yeah,
can build your own. If there was just one set routine, like I'd just put out a video and say, do this, but we're different. So
exactly.
even though you can type in Grant Eilertson morning routine or winner's morning routine and you'll see what I do. But as far as setting up stuff for yourself, I have, let's see, 6 non-negotiable things that I make sure I include. So that makes a great framework. Um, and the number one thing that I like to do first is something that establishes a forward momentum. And what I mean by that is like something that you can accomplish first thing that sets you up in like a winning mindset as opposed to like oh my God, like there's so much stuff to do. Where do I start?
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
absolutely.
So
Yeah.
for like a lot of people, it's making the bed. And that's what I use as an example too. There's a great book. I can't remember what it's called. I want to say it was from a drill sergeant, and I think it was maybe called Make Your Bed.
Okay.
But it talks about the importance of establishing those productive habits. So, for example, like making a habit of just completing one simple task, it puts me in like oh, great, I already won something today. Like, let's keep it going. Let's keep the momentum up. So, picking something that you can do. For some people, it might be writing, 500 words. For others, it might be starting a load of laundry, but getting a simple task done first thing is awesome. Other
Yeah.
like not checking your phone, not checking the emails, not being reactive, but that actually is number three. So number two, I talk about getting your mind right. So your subconscious mind controls the majority of what's going to happen to you throughout the day. Because if we had to think with our conscious mind all the time, we'd be running around frazzled. There's so much stimulus that our bodies utilize our subconscious brain in order to give us easy patterns and tendencies to go, oh, all right, that's normal, that's normal, that's normal, that's normal. Think about one thing and we're good.
Yeah.
So the problem is like, even if your conscious mind is like, yes, let's go make some money. But your,
Yep.
you know what I mean? But your subconscious mind could be saying some shit like, yeah, let's make some money.
Let's do it.
But if you were raised, for example, with like parents maybe that had a lack mindset, or teachers that told you like, a noble job does not require you to be paid exorbitantly,
Yeah.
then your subconscious mind might be saying shit like, you are undeserving of getting paid that, or only bad people make a lot of money. So if we're running our day like 90% with the thoughts like, only bad people make money, I want to be a good person, then you're fucked. So
Yeah.
it's all about
Pretty much.
setting, right? You're fucked. So it's about setting your intentions and beliefs first. And oh my God, I feel so bad because I'm going to butcher his name. The Dandapani, he's a Buddhist monk, actually did a great talk on London Real about setting affirmations in a way that actually allows you to physiologically anchor what you're trying to do.
Okay.
And it can have anything to do with like, counting prayer beads or what they call mala beads. But the main thing is actually a clear vision of what it is that you want, concise language that is recognizable by your subconscious mind,
Yeah.
and then associating it with a feeling, like anchoring a feeling to it. So just for an example, kind of like he did, if you go, I love myself, our body's like, okay, great, me, love, I know that emotion, myself,
Yeah.
oh, again, me, perfect, I love me, great, that's an easy affirmation, right?
Yeah.
Now, if we go, I love apples, then the brain goes, okay, I love, easy associative emotion. What's an apple, though? Is it a Macintosh, a Honeycrisp, a Granny Smith, a Red Delicious, a MacBook Pro, an Apple computer, headphones? Like, oh my gosh, and it starts going like this.
Yeah.
And so what we actually have to be able to do is visualize with 100% clarity. Oh, okay, a green Granny Smith apple. I love that.
And now I'm not
It
sure if it's
reminds me
my
of,
end or
for
Grant's
example,
end.
a hot apple pie
I'm
in
at
the
a
summer.
friend's house with internet. Sorry, Grant, you were cut out there. I'm not sure if it was my end or yours, but we kind of missed that last 20 odd seconds. Oh, there we
Oh,
go. So,
shoot. Sorry, I thought you were still there. So basically, if you are not anchoring your affirmation with a strong enough vision,
yep.
then it's going to be essentially useless. Your body's just like, whatever, move on to the
Okay.
next.
Yeah.
So it's all about letting your subconscious mind recognize what it is you're affirming. So if you're going, I am rich, I attract abundance, things like this, you have to be able to visualize what would that look like. I mean, having money is great. Like, are you really going to envision having paper dollars in your hand, though? No, what you need to envision is the actual benefit that would afford. If that means like taking your family on vacation, or if that means that car you've wanted for years, envision the fuck out of that and get really emotionally tied to it. Same thing with the body. So many people are like, I don't want to be fat anymore. Oh, I hate being so out of shape. Those are the wrong things to focus on. Where you focus is where you're going to go. So it's all about setting your intentions the right way in the morning.
Yeah.
So what I actually said before, about being not being on your phone, I don't remember where I first got it from, but Dean Graziosi totally used this analogy in his new book, Millionaire Success Habits.
Yep.
Hey, Dean, if you want to, Dean, hook it up again. I love that book.
Yeah.
being a thermostat as opposed to a thermometer. Do you get what I'm saying there?
No, I'd love you to elaborate on that more.
I would love to. Just wanted to check to see if you'd heard it before. So, if you think about it like this, a thermometer sits on the wall and it changes based off of the temperature in the room. It's
Yep.
basically living in reaction to what's going on around it. Whereas a thermostat is something that you program specifically because you say, I want it to be 70 degrees. You put 70 degrees on that thermostat, and that's what the room is going to become. It's going to
Okay.
become 70 degrees.
Yeah, great
So
analogy.
living
Yeah.
as so living as a thermostat allows you to dictate your own world as opposed to living in reaction to whatever happens around you. So if you want to apply it to your own life, that could be anything from like avoiding text messages and emails first thing in the morning because what are those? Well, they're going to be someone else's agenda, and you need to live based off your agenda first.
Okay.
So if
Yeah.
the first thing you do is wake up and you go, oh, I got all these emails to answer, well, then you're already doing everyone else's job like before you actually take care of yourself. So
Yeah, it makes
a
sense.
big part of your yeah, a big part of your morning routine is going to be setting yourself up for success by being a thermostat first. Do you notice
Yeah.
that in your own life too?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it can really vary, but yeah, I know what you mean because at this point, I'm at the because of the whole networking with the podcast and with building the business. Then in the morning, I'll wake up and there'll be like 20, 30 Facebook messages from the night before. Being in a different time zone, I always have, I always turn off my notifications because I'll be asleep when everyone's waking up. So I'll wake up and I'll be like, oh shit, there's all these messages I've got to respond to, potential business, networking, that sort of thing. So it's something that, yeah, in the morning, the current routine I have, because as I was saying, every month or so, I've been kind of figuring out what's been working best. And yeah, at this stage, I've been doing that. So I definitely have to take that on board to try and, see what else works in regards to, I guess, going back, because I found that when I did wake up and I went straight to the gym in the morning, A, I was losing weight, but B, I felt better throughout the day. And I found that then just with the amount of work that was happening, I was getting a bit overwhelmed with kind of managing it all. So I thought, all right, I'll put that later on in the day. So I think I might have to take a step back and actually go back to that routine I had before, because I found that from I guess, a happiness perspective, or not necessarily a happiness perspective, but more from a energy level perspective, I was in a much better place.
I definitely noticed that too. I mean, shit, the nice lady on the airplane was right. I mean, you have to put your oxygen mask on first, right?
Yeah, exactly. If you're going to die, at least feel better doing it for yourself first.
Yeah.
Because the oxygen
So,
masks, they
like you
don't
were
do
saying,
shit. All they do is calm you down. If you're going to die in a plane crash, the oxygen is purely just calming you down so you're not losing your shit while you're about to die. So just a little fun fact for everyone there listening in
are
at
you a
home.
Fight Club fan too? All right, Tyler Durden.
Man, I love that. I've seen that movie like a decade. That's a great film. It's actually a great film.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Guys, the things you own end up owning you.
Exactly.
What did he say? We do shit we don't like to impress people, or we wake up and do things we hate to impress people we don't like with things we don't need. Something like that.
Something like that.
And it's
Yeah.
true. You got to live for yourself first.
Actually, if you're listening in at home,
But
can you Google that phrase for us? I'd love to know what the phrase is. If anyone there is on the live there, if you can find that for us, Tyler
yeah,
Durden's famous line in Fight Club.
I think it's we go to jobs we hate to buy shit we don't need to impress people we don't like.
I think that's
But
it.
I would
Yeah.
love if someone could correct me because
Yeah.
it's
If
a
someone could
great movie.
confirm that,
Oh
that'd
man.
be fantastic.
Hell yeah. So number 4 and 5, easy to lump together because they have to do with taking care of our physical state. Let's move your body and nourish your body. So like you were saying, when you work out first thing in the morning, you feel so much better afterwards because of all the endorphins and shit. The fact of the matter is you already accomplished something difficult.
Yeah.
So as long as you can make sure that you're getting something healthy into your body, a lean protein source, not too high in carbs to spike up your insulin levels, and then moving your body to get your positive endorphins running and get you closer to your goals, it's an awesome way to start the day. I don't need to sit around too long and talk about that because, it's obvious. When you're
Yeah,
healthier, you feel better.
absolutely.
So number 6 out of the list then is to make a smart to-do list. Now, you're like a high performer, and so I would be willing to wager any amount of money that your to-do lists, at least within the past few months, have had probably like 10 or more items on them, right?
Yeah, I had to start writing them down because it was getting too much to just remember. Here we go, Jeremy. Tyler Durden, the things you own end up owning you. Yeah, man, absolutely. Absolutely.
So the thing is, like, and thank you, Jeremy. He's actually an awesome watcher of the Daily G too. We've talked a few times. He's going to be someone you're probably going to want to talk to before too long because he's writing an awesome series of kids' books that takes them progressively up through different reading levels.
Yeah, awesome. Oh, here we go, Graham. We both lead with money we don't have to impress people we don't like. Absolutely, man. Thanks for looking that up for us, champion. Yeah, could not agree more.
So true. So when I say make a smart to-do list, the reason I assumed you had so much shit on there is because you're kind of like me in the fact that you want everything done and you want it done now because
Yeah.
you're physically capable of it.
Yeah.
Well,
I've,
the problem is if you get too many things on that list, then you start to lose your perception of what is truly important because it becomes like, yes, like almost a dopamine rush checking things off. Like, oh fuck yeah, I did this, did that, like I did 20 things today. Go me.
yeah.
Well, when you really, really, really boil it down, typically we have the capability of performing 3 really concrete tasks that move us forward in one way or another. And so I like to think about it as far as my business is concerned. If you can choose 3 vital tasks that actually tangibly move you forward every day and make your list just 3 things, and then in another section, write down like all the stuff that would be nice to do and like appointments and stuff, you
Yeah.
keep the main focus on moving the needle. So I'll just give an example. Like if I needed to do things like prospect for leads, get on sales calls, do website back-end work, create a new email funnel, um, and then follow up with existing clients and do a coaching call. I'm
Yeah.
like, wow, that's 6 things. That's going to be a really busy day. And I go, well, it'd be easiest for me to start working on the back-end funnel. So I take 4 hours, and build out like this great back end to my website. And then number 2, I like work on making sure it looks pretty. I haven't done anything yet to move my business forward. Not tangibly so, because I've just taken like effort out of my headspace because we have a limited amount of motivation we can have on a daily basis.
Yeah.
And I've delegated it to tasks that feel like I've done a lot and it's real work. Jesus.
Yeah.
I mean,
But it's working in your business, not working on your business. Absolutely.
yeah. So in the
Yeah.
future, I mean, I'm going to hire people like you to do better work on my websites rather than doing it myself. Because, guys, if you're still like building your own websites, your own ClickFunnels, all that shit, like it's taking away from the bottom line of your business. Hire a
Absolutely.
professional.
Leverage other people's time. Absolutely.
Seriously, I spent so much time in the first 6 months building shit that I didn't need to. That in like today doesn't even serve me because my
Yeah.
business has changed. So if my first thing was prospect for leads, and then it was follow up with leads, and then it was take care of my clients, then I've done everything that it takes in order to have a successful business that gives referrals and then has happy customers. Like
Yeah.
my clients don't give a fuck how nice my website looks. Like
Exactly.
prospects, they might, but like at the end of the day, it's like take care of what's most important
Yeah.
first, and then do the rest of the stuff if you still have the energy. Because I would get to the point where it was like, God, I don't want to talk to like 50 new people today. It takes a lot of effort. Maybe I won't.
Yeah.
What else can I do? So those are my 6 biggest things. Establish forward momentum, get your mind right, be a fucking thermostat, nourish your body, move your body, and make a smart to-do list. And if you do those 6 things, shit, even if you did 3 of those things in your morning routine for the next month, your productivity is going to go up.
Yeah.
Plain and simple.
Absolutely. No, fantastic. Some
So
absolutely fantastic points. So everyone at home, yeah, Grant Eilertson is absolutely fantastic. You know, this he's doing so well for himself in regards to in the fitness industry, and he's just so motivated with everything. Like, if you're listening in at home, we really appreciate you investing your time with us here today. We'd love to know that you're on the show watching live. If you can type in the hashtag live, just so we know you're here, in case you've got any questions for us, or we cover something later on that we can refer back to. So, yeah, Grant, this is fantastic, man. So. Yeah, I think these are some really valuable points that everyone can use and leverage. And, you know, being a thermostat in regards to adapting to everything around you and changing the temperature instead of just being there and letting it kind of flow through is absolutely fantastic. So, yeah, man, this has been great so far. Here we go. Drew, Molly, thank you so much for tuning in. Graham as well. Yeah, man, absolutely. So what's next on Grant's list of, yeah, where he's headed?
man, well, this year my intention is to help 200 people completely transform the quality of their lives through empowerment via better fitness.
Yeah,
And we are looking for 190 more people now in order to make that impact because
beautiful.
we've already been working with some kick-ass people, including a couple people who have tuned into this video. Great to see you
Fantastic.
guys here. I fucking love it.
Yeah,
So that's my biggest thing.
that's
And
awesome, man.
I'm like single focused. I get really, really tunnel vision. I want to do that, you know.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, it's only mid-January, so you know you're doing really well in that. You know you're already ticking that box and you're getting those people on board. So that's fantastic, man. So for everyone at home, how would they get in touch with you for your services for to be able to leverage your time for you to be able to help them to reach their fitness goals? How are they going to be able to do that?
Well, the thing is, anybody that ends up working with me does have to go through an interview process. Now, there's nothing that you can just buy from us because at the end of the day, if we're not going to be the right fit for you, then you're not the right fit for us, and it's not going
Absolutely,
to be a good mutual relationship. Now,
yeah,
if you are someone who's interested in taking your health and fitness to the next level or curious as to how you would make that happen, you can either go to raisethebartraining.com and click apply for coaching, or you can find me, Grant Eilertson, and shoot me a DM. Because I would love to just talk with you in the most convenient way possible. And I'll ask you some questions and we can kind of determine together whether or not we'd be a good fit. Like I said, I like to cuss a lot. I don't accept bullshit excuses. But if you're ready to take your life to the next level, fuck, there is no better option. My team is incredible. And this is not just me doing this alone. I wouldn't be able to do this if it weren't for that girl standing over there in the kitchen.
yeah.
Can you come here? You want to say hi? I have an incredible staff of coaches, guys, and one of them happens to actually live with me. Her name is Em. She's my girlfriend, and she has provided me with
Hey,
so much direction and motivation, and being able to work with someone that you live with. I mean, there's boardroom meetings every day, and we keep the pace high.
yeah, that's great.
Oh, man. And then I'll give a quick shout out to my master trainer out in Hillsboro, men's trainer right there. His name's Brett Ball, and he kicks ass. He is a hard ass. I mean, if you think I'm tough, just wait.
Yeah,
I mean, that's a kick in the ass. But he wears Nikes, though. It's not like a steel toe boot, but I mean, you'll feel it.
yeah,
Now,
yeah. Beautiful.
if
So,
anyone wants, yeah, like I said, if anybody wants to get in touch, get in contact with me, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Twitter. Just look for Grant Eilertson or Raise the Bar Training, and we'll
yeah,
just have a quick chat. Because
yeah.
I
Awesome.
got a lot of connections. If we're not the right fit, I'd be happy to refer you on to someone who I think would be a better fit. Because at the end of the day, if you have the courage to actually take control of your own health and fitness, you deserve the right resources. So
Absolutely.
I want to connect you with them, whether or not that's us.
Yeah. No, beautiful. Grant Eilertson, it's been an absolute pleasure, man. Thank you so much for coming on the show. This has been an absolute blast, and we got through the technical difficulties in the beginning. So hopefully by tomorrow we're back to the normal setting. But I'll tell you what, as I said, I'm really digging this swivel chair, so I got to hook myself up.
Yes, yes, me too. I'm loving this.
Yeah.
I will tell you what, because you guys stuck around all this time, I want to let you in on a little sale I'm doing. The RTB bookstore that has a couple of our best resources that our clients have loved is currently on sale. So if you hop in there, I'm going to be giving your listeners actually free access to our educational materials. So
Beautiful. Thank
you
you.
can learn all about figuring out good habits and tendencies and how to start building a nutrition plan for yourself and how to
Yep.
build your own morning routines and get yourself on the right track. So raisethebartraining.com and click on bookstore and you will find yourself some free resources.
Fantastic. And please feel free to put those links below as well. If there's any links you do want to share with us, absolutely drop them in the comments. I'd love for you to be able to do that so then everyone can click on there. So Grant, thank you so much again for coming on, man. It's been an absolute pleasure. And everyone at home, thank you so much for tuning in. Once this is uploaded on iTunes and Android, if you could please give it a 5-star review and subscribe, that would be very much appreciated. So Grant, thanks again, man. And yeah, we'll keep in touch. I'd love to hear how things are going.